Why? Okay. Do you want to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi everyone. We are from Syndicate 7. And today we're gonna talk a little bit about business ethics. Stay tuned.
She will delete
Something. Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum. It's Lydia and I'm from Bogor. I'm bachelor degree from management. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Hola, soy Nisa. I graduated from Architecture, Universitas Indonesia, and right now I'm studying in MBA 67C.
Hello everyone, ciao, mi chiamo Ihsan. I'm from Bandung and I'm graduated from Mining Engineering ITB, and now I'm in Business Administration ITB.
Hello guys, nama saya Farhanullah Khan. I'm graduated from Business Administration. I come from Pakistan.
Assalamualaikum, Zamanum Ririn. I'm from Bandung. I'm graduated from Psychology, University of Indonesia.
Yay! For now, we are going to ask you about the first question.
Okay.
The first one is, how do moral foundation and values inform you about your own ethical decision making, especially in business context?
Based on my opinion, based on the moral foundation and sports values that I have taken maybe 2 days ago, the portion of the achievement in my decision making is higher than the other values, which if you look at it broadly are not too different. This align with several business decisions, especially regarding working with others. In this case, I prefer to work with people who can show they can do what they say they can. In practice, I do not close my eyes to other people's activities to achieve these goals if what is being done is not by applicable norms based on my moral values. Then I will not want to work with that person, because only by combining business methods with our ethical trust that the achievements obtained will be better for the sustainability of the business and the quality of life of the people involved in these business activities. So that's based on my experience, and that's my question, my answer.
Okay, thank you, Ihsan. Now maybe we have to move on to the next person, okay? Thank you. Now, for the second person to answer. Hi, Ririn.
Hello.
Can you tell me about the answer for your first question?
Okay. According to SWOT simulation,
Mhm.
my 3 highest results are achievement, security, and stimulation. And the 2 lowest are tradition and power. According to this, I find myself appreciating personal success through demonstrating competence according to social standard. I also prioritize safety, harmony, stability of society, relationship, and self. And a bit different from the value trait of circle, stimulation as the opposite of security, also a high point for me. I will prioritize competence and safety in making decisions, especially in a business context. But somehow, I don't mind trying to do something new as long as research for or risk has been done before. I also like to hear opinions and discussion from others to have better solution. Do collaborate, then do power-based solution, because I believe that people can be seen more because of their competence than their social status, prestige, or their dominance over others. That's all from me.
Wow, that's a good answer. Thank you, Ririn.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on to the third person, okay?
Okay.
Bye. Okay, so Farhan, this is your turn to answer the first question. Can you tell me?
Yeah, thank you, Nisa. So, based on SWOT theory, the moral foundation and values in business context empower my mind to catch information about ethical decision making by providing a framework for understanding what is important to me and how to differentiate and consider what is wrong and what is right. The values provided by SWOT theory, in which my priority-based values are universalism, security, conformity, and power. These values make me able to make decision making by putting these values into human behaviors. Also, I can identify and evaluate potential conflicts by considering and comparing these values to each other, which is important to make specific decisions. In addition, to make it acceptable by society, I add universal ethical standards and to be beneficial for humanity, such as stakeholders related to business by considering benevolence value. Yeah, this is my answer. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good take.
Yeah.
Now we're moving on to the fourth people. Hi, hello Dhiya.
Hi, hello.
Hi, so you've heard about the answers from our friends. Now it's your turn. Can you tell me about your answer?
My answer is as we know about Swartz theory, in my ethical decision, the moral foundation of benevolence, universalism, and security are particularly influenced in my ethical decision making at work or organization. I choose three option of that ethical theory because what I think is about the benevolence foundation motivate me to prioritize caring of other and preventing harm and promoting well-being. And this means I am to make decision positively impact my college and community. And the second is universalism foundation. They can drive me to consider the well-being of all people affected by business. And the third is security foundation and prompt me to value stability, harmony, and safety. And I tend to avoid decision that seems overly risky or disruptive and could seriously undermine security for myself or others. That's for me.
Okay, thank you, Dhiya.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, because it's my turn, I will give the camera to
Yeah, I will
Kaisa.
help you. Yeah.
Thank you, ya Kak.
All right. Since our cameraman has to answer her question too, so Nisa, this is our cameraman. And what's your answer for question 1?
Okay, so for the question number 1, I think that I compare my result with others with similar demographics, and my scores are all like above average. So basically, I score most of them as important because of the state I'm in. I frequently gather with people who are chasing independence and share their vision in life as well as how they evaluate themselves. So I take notes for 5 highest value from the Schwartz. The first one is stimulation, achievement, self-direction, universalism, and security. And I believe that the result of short moral values is shown when I'm faced with the decision-making process in business. The stimulation part makes me eager to explore new concepts, to be in ever-changing environment in which I could always progress, to be advanced in what I do. In other words, it is important to fulfill my passion and interest. For achievement base, I auto-motivate myself to do better, promoting my competence. Combined with self-direction, I can say that I appreciate freedom of thoughts and creation. I enjoy exploring concepts and alternatives in business thinking. That's why I will almost prefer to always do collaboration and involve in integrative discussion rather than being involved in a horizontal hierarchical structure of organization. Last but not least, these values might also explain why I am interested in social entrepreneurship. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nisa. So that's it for our first question. And next to the second question.
Okay, guys, we already finished answering the first question, right?
No.
Right? Okay. So right now we have to answer the second question, which is, what are your strategies to avoid moral neglect, moral justification, and moral inaction in your organizational or business decision making? And since Ihsan is already on a frame, maybe you can help us boosting the conversation. What do you think?
Moral neglect, moral justification, and moral inaction. Yeah. So maybe for my answers, this is based on my experience in organizations and business decision making. There will be a time when we, as members of an organization or considering business decision making, will face problems that test our moral compass. In this situation, the decisions that will be taken will significantly affect the results of the issues and activities to be carried out, so that we do not deviate from making decisions. The primary thing that the decision maker must own is a solid basic moral foundation and character that upholds and respects, especially social norms and applicable legal standards, as well as awareness that puts forward fundamental truths. So this can be taught from an early age, since this little maybe. But in the context of organizing and doing business, it is necessary to make appeals that aim as reminders to strengthen basic morals. So that's my opinion, and so I think we must be surrounded by competent people with the same or better moral views than we have. So I think the severe selections is necessary when choosing potential partners who will work together as in a team. So that's my opinion, and that's my answers for this question.
Okay, interesting. So basically, what I get from your answer is about how we have to force ourselves to be like in a right environment,
Yeah.
and maybe give like a better education
Yeah.
or some kind of like workshops for the people that
Yeah.
wants to know more
Yeah,
about the
that's right.
moral ethics, right? Okay, so I don't know, maybe if anyone wants to give like any opinion regarding to
Yeah.
that, Farhan?
I think I also agree with him because he talked about competent employees. So, getting feedback from stakeholders, employees, communities, and persons related to the decisions which I made help us to overcome the moral neglects and moral justifications, and help me to know the potential possible impacts of my decisions made. Also, I believe that taking responsibility on time rather than running away from the problems and dilemmas can make problem more worse, and in result everyone become involved in that specific problem. So I think like running from responsibilities is not okay. We should be responsible as a competent and as a good employee. We should be responsible. Also, I prefer to have group discussions to avoid moral neglects by taking suggestions from every related person to a specific problem or decision that has been made or should be taken in future. So by doing more discussions, we can overcome and solve these issues. I also focus on accountability and integrity to maintain transparency and justice in organization while making business or ethical decisions. So I think these are some points I should consider here. So yeah, thank you. I agree with you.
I like your opinion too when
Mhm.
you said that people or person should have a responsibility. So that's because when a person has a good responsibility, I think that person will have a good ethical something like that.
Yeah.
And maybe others.
Okay, so basically Farhan's point is about the discussion, right? Like
Yeah,
how we
discussions.
have to like listen to everyone's needs and such like that. I think that's also interesting. Maybe if any other wants to add their answer.
Maybe I want to add a few words that I agree with two friends before me. The argument is good, and I just want to tell about something that get in my mind, that how to avoid moral neglect, moral justification, and moral inaction in organizations. I think there are two strategy that I can add, and another members can maybe agree or maybe and can add some opinion. The one is maybe I will consider the moral implication of decision, that we should make conscious effort to consider how decision impact of all stakeholder in the company, not just for shareholder or customer, and evaluate how decision affect and we must evaluate how that decision affect employee, the community, and the environment. And the second will be about take responsibility for moral choices, and we should take the ownership of choices and acknowledge moral implications, and accept responsibility for the overall well-being of stakeholders. That's for me.
Any others want to add for the question too?
Maybe I want to try to add something based on my perspective. So, in order to avoid moral neglects and something like that, I mostly focus on what I want to know and like the news or like the articles that is exposed to me. So, in order to prevent those, I regularly expose myself with books, articles, or information, usually like on social medias, to actually just understand about like how the society works right now and how as a society we develop our thoughts and our set of minds. And I love trying to understand what other things when it's related to their comfort zone, culture, and orientation. So maybe it's kind of a bit similar to what you were saying regarding the discussion between several people or several stakeholders, things like that. And in addition, being surrounded by the right people that brings positive values will also enhance our consciousness to avoid moral neglect. So this point might also relate it to what Ihsan said, because being in the right environment, being in the right circle might actually help us, be more aware on like the situation. And I can reflect it based on my working time. Like during my working time in an architectural studio, we often examine the clients and other profiles of stakeholders to see whether we are working with the right resources and avoid any negligence. So like we wouldn't harm like the environment or maybe like the regulations, because there's also a standard that is written by Ikatan Arsitek Indonesia. I think that's from me. So Ririn, if you
Okay.
Last but not least,
Maybe I will give my opinion. First of all, I think all of your opinions is really great, and I think it's really relatable how to what's to avoid moral neglect, moral justification, and moral inaction in your organization. But I think, in my opinion, actually the unethical things, sometimes it like or not like, it will be happen. For example, in our daily life or in working context, it will happen. You like it or you don't like it. Even you try to avoid it, but it still happens. So I think first we must be able to determine our clear boundaries, which action that we cannot accept and which are still within tolerable limits. This must be different from one or another because we have our different moral compass, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I will try to answer with my experience for the context now of work now. And during my work, many things happens conflict with my values, especially maybe regarding to the our values. The easiest thing to do as an individual is to avoid things against your conscience. But the most difficult thing is when facing the reality of you should do that, you should do that. The first thing I try to do is look at the scope. If I can still be avoided, I will avoid it. But if you have to do it, I will do it with very minimal impact. Last, I try to stop at this time when you are forced to do things that feel wrong, but you do that with possible suggestion for improvement and what can be done in the future so that it doesn't happen again. Because in my opinion, just avoiding it without providing concrete solution will not be able to stop things that what feels wrong. That's why we also have to know why this is wrong and how to make this right, rather than we say, no, that's wrong, you cannot do that. I think like that. Thank you.
I think that's like a very important note for all of us, because I also agree that there are so many different thoughts, so many different perspectives around us, like even in our groups like that, like how we're making the videos and such like that. But like the conflicts or like the moral neglects will always be there, or like the diversity, the differences will always be there. So maybe the key of that is to take notes, to understand the basics, and maybe do some kind of like communications in order to be like to find like a common ground to actually inform others about our standards and maybe listen to their standards.
And we should have understanding for each other that I said before. We have our own tolerable things, that we cannot say strictly that, oh, you do the wrong thing, you do the false thing.
Yeah.
Because we have different values, moral compass, and etc.
Okay, that's for question 2. This is our member, and let's meet in the question 3.
Okay, thank you. Hello everyone, so we are back right now to answer the third question. It is about what way do authorship theories of ethics, deontological ethics, consequentialism, virtue ethics, stakeholder theory inform you about solving ethical issues or dilemmas in your business decision making. Relate your answers whenever possible to legal aspects of business such as contract and sustainability related aspects. So in order to make this discussion easier, maybe we will try to talk one by one for the ethical points, right? Okay, maybe I'll try to open the discussion for the first point, which is the deontological ethics.
Yeah.
Okay. Based on this is from the source that I got from the website. So based on Immanuel Kant, deontological ethics are the clear set of rules, written or unwritten, to define the purpose of the business. So it's like defining the right or wrong. That's what he said. And then I also define it as something that to create boundaries and standardize the work in order to understand the right and wrong. And then there will be rules and duties needed to be obeyed. And also I can try to relate that with some of my experience, like determining contracts for architectural projects in which we give proposals that include our scope of work, job description, timeline or scheduling, term of payment, and so forth. So anyone wants to try to comment on that part, the deontological ethics?
So I think for the ontological, it's bound into some rules, some rules that we should obey to ensure that the ethical is
Met?
good, good and met. So is it any other written should the rules written in some books maybe?
Oh, okay. If not mistaken, like by definition, it can be written or unwritten. Yeah,
It's like everybody knows it. This is a good things or bad things.
Norm, like culture, things like that.
Like you should pay the debt on time, like that. Everyone knows it. It's a good thing. It's like deontological.
I think like deontological ethics we can use while we have issues, problems or dilemmas related to moral duties.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and obligations, and can provide guidance related to behavior like legal obligations, like contracts and something related to the business and organization. So I think this theory can help us while making decision makings related to legal obligations.
Yeah.
Maybe what I think in my mind is about the business in this point to the business, because when we talk about deontological ethics, it's like business activity should avoid such unethical actions, even they want to increase the profit, but this is not good to the community maybe or to the employee, and then they must give what I say is focus on like you said before, to the rightness of the actions themselves.
Yeah.
So it's different from rules, from law,
It can be part. Law can be a part of it.
Oh,
I think.
uh,
I think law can be a part of it, and also religious norm is also part of the deontological ethics because it's also have this restriction based on God's rules. Yeah, so that's also maybe one of the things that give us the barrier in order to define the right or wrong in ethics. Yeah, things like that. I think it's part of it. Did anyone wanna add something about the ontological also?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's enough. Okay.
Okay, so maybe second one is we can move on to consequentialism.
Yeah. Okay. In consequentialism framework is from Jeremy Bentham. We focus on the future effect of possible action. Before making a decision, a result are considered pragmatically. Once the desired outcomes are selected, an ethical decision-making framework reveals the potential course of action to achieve those goals. Or in other sentence, we said that when doing that thing, people will think about the consequences or impact on them directly or indirectly. So people will think twice if they want to do something like unethical.
For me, like that method, the consequentialism, that one is like one of the most effective on defining the rules, defining the ethic base, because like people will think about the impact more. So it could be like about them, or it could be about the people that is also involved in their own business, things like that. And also like it can be connected to other points like the ontological also maybe. Like the law or the contract can have the consequences also, right?
and in terms of sustainability, I think when we talk about consequentialism, the effect will not we will not feel it right now, but it has a potential to make some effect, some impact in the future. So it's time constant in the consequentialism is important, I think.
Oh yeah,
And also it's related to sustainability because of the impact. The impact is like ethical impact.
Yeah.
That's why it's related to sustainability. And while it's related to sustainability, it should be affected on shareholders. Because if the business is not sustainable, the impacts and the effects which will the outcomes will be affected to like the shareholder will be affected from the outcomes. That's why this one is like more important one for me as a business, for big organizations, because big organizations usually depend on shareholders. Yeah, and this one is more related with shareholders. Yeah.
Maybe with this point, I think even that you have told before, what I'm curious about is consequentialism. Maybe it can be difficult to be accurate, to predict all possible consequences. Even some company maybe think to do some decisions, but the predict of all possible consequences not only be easy to be accurate to predict. Jadi difficult ya consequences.
Also, do the consequences have to also be written, or it can also be something that like unwritten, like people might just know they deserve something, they deserve the consequences or the sanction without.
I think it's both.
Yeah, it could be both.
Could be both.
I think for the business we can say about the risk mitigation, maybe it's related to the consequence of doing something kan. Nah, for the risk mitigation I think it should be written, right? The analysis.
Okay. I think for that part is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will have a break first.
Yeah. Maybe we should have a break first
Okay.
to refresh our minds.
Refresh our mind. we will move into the third theory. It's about the stakeholder theory, and I will explain a little bit. Stakeholder theory promotes a practical, efficient, effective, and ethical way to manage organizations in a highly complex and turbulent environment. It's from Freeman in 1984 and Harrison Edwards in 2007. It is a practical theory because all firms have to manage stakeholders, even the company, even the firms didn't have any good management in managing the stakeholders, but in any situation, the stakeholders should be managed. Yeah, so in any situation, we must always pay attention to business goals to align with the interests of various stakeholders, starting from the shareholders, the creditors, the employees, and the customers. It is important to maintain business continuity by always maintaining the interests of stakeholders. So that's from the stakeholder theory. Any comment from guys?
Oh, Ririn wants to talk first?
Okay. Maybe in a short sentence, maybe I can conclude that if you do the good things, you will produce good things and have a good impact to the future stakeholders, like high productivity through lead into employee satisfaction, like improve retention, get from happy customers, and it create happy financiers, and so on and so forth. It's related one and another.
I also think like she said, like we should do good things. So why we should do good things? Because it's stakeholder theory. It's all about community also, and that's why we should focus on good things. Because what decision we will take, it will not only affect the organization, it will not only affect the profitability of organization, but also it will affect the community and the society. That's why when we are making decisions, we should take care of what will be the effect of our decisions. Like when we are doing waste management, why a company do waste management? This is not the responsibility for profitability, but for society. That's why they are following this theory, stakeholder theory. That's why they are more related with community and society. So it will become more environmental friendly with this theory.
This theory also, I think it's important to we know, because in my opinion, that is a business might be perform better and longer by managing the strong stakeholder connection. That's why this stakeholder theory considered the interest of all group affected by business, like shareholders or employees, suppliers, and community.
Yeah, maybe I wanna add a little bit, maybe just to conclude like our points. It is more about like the relationship between us to other groups or other people, or like in business is the stakeholders, right? Or maybe in between the two stakeholders, about how our action maybe affects those kind of relationships, and maybe we also think about our responsibility in this involvement of a business, right? Okay, yeah. I think we also find the common ground for that one. Maybe we already agree with each other's opinion. Yeah. Okay. Now we can move on to virtual ethics.
Yeah, virtual ethics. It's also like decision-making theory. While we are making decision, we use this theory, and virtual ethics theory is usually used to solve the issues faced within an organization, inside. Specifically relate with employees to encourage honesty, diligence, responsibility, compassion, and building trust in their jobs, and to maintain smooth relationship among employees, managers, and the business leaders. Also, this theory can help us when there are conflicts and gaps between employees' personal interests and goals of organizations. So while we have gap between these two interests, there will be agency problem. We call it agency problem, when managers and employees do work for their own interest rather than shareholder interest. Because company is combination of two parts. One is shareholders and one is employees. So employees should do things which shareholder also accept. Also, in conclusion, I will add that virtual ethics become more important to maintain a good environment within an organization, because an organization is full of diverse personalities and with a deeper way of life, religious thoughts, norms, values, and ethnicities, which make the workplace more tough and hard to be picked for employees. So that's why we called it within the organization, because everything it depends within organization among employees. Yeah. So by applying this theory, we can build trust in our organization. Like we all are employees, we should trust on each other. That what I am doing, I am not just doing for myself. I am doing for our community, all of our employees. So I should make you sure also. So that time when there is any issue or any problem like agency problem or like personal employees problem, so we can use this theory, virtual ethic theory. So
That's a very interesting theory, right?
Yeah.
Like in order for you to have like a healthy business, you have to be healthy inside also.
Yeah.
Whether it's a point for individual, like personal,
Mhm.
or like within the organization itself, like
Yeah.
management and things like that.
Mhm.
Okay, like somehow it feels a bit clearer after you explain that
Yeah.
part.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
And I think when you know about the spiritual theory like this,
Yeah.
it strengthens the belief, the belief inside your mind, inside your heart, that when you are doing good thing, it will affect the others, like around you, something like organizations,
In a good way.
your family.
Mhm.
So I think it's interesting. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think that if all employees do that thing, it's good not only from this business owner or company CEO or board members. It creates a good positive image to create a good company.
Yeah.
Oh, people in the company is very kind. Like it's have a positive impact also for another customer. We can relate it into stakeholder theory maybe, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
From the field to the
So we
stakeholder.
can build like business reputation
Mhm.
with good relationships
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah, because the company should consider how business decision reflect on their company character and value. Like maybe there's examples like you talk about inside the company,
Yeah.
but I will share about how the company value can affect the environment
Yeah.
at the company. Like for example, maybe a company that value environmental sustainability should make a decision that. Even if less eco-friendly options are more profit, but they choose to be good to environment and sustainability. And the other point is maybe I will relation that stakeholder theory into the sustainability also. There's what I read and in my opinion that a stakeholder theory can relevant to corporate social responsibility decision, and sustainability policy that aim to generate shared value for multiple stakeholders, as you said before. And maybe it's something I think about legal aspect, at this point, like contracts, regulations, and law should inform ethical business decision by establishing a minimum standard of acceptable conduct. Like while the law aims to protect people right and prohibit harm, and the ethic aims higher for moral excellence and integrity.
It's the relation about give those theories into the legal and sustainability aspect, right?
Wow. It was a clear conversation. Yeah. It was a good discussion. I like it.
Give conclusions.
I think like I don't know whether this is gonna be like our conclusions or not. Like, but after like realizing and after hearing our thoughts of all this theory, at first I was only thinking that we can only apply one theory per one act, but maybe this would be like a combination thing, right?
And
combine.
Yeah, you can combine.
and it will be related to each other.
Yeah.
It cannot be separated.
Because theory of ethics maybe provide a moral compass for navigating complex in business decisions.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the thing that I just realized about how we can utilize all of these tools to identify the best decisions for us, and also for like all of the people and all of the things that actually matters in our business. Is there anyone wants to like try to give something that they also get from this? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's all clear.
Nice having chat with you guys.
Yeah, I think this is nice. Yeah. Okay.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Clapping for us. Syndicate 7.
Yeah.